When you reach a point in life where you realize no one is coming to help you, no one is coming to save you, and no one is going to lift you out of your suffering, you have just entered the beginning of Carl Jung's deepest psychological path, the confrontation with your own soul. Jung believed that loneliness is not the absence of people, it is the absence of understanding. It is the moment you look around and realize that even if 100 people are standing near you, none of them truly see you, and yet this is where your ascent begins. Most people collapse when abandoned, but Jung says, when the world leaves you, the self arrives. The self is Jung's highest concept, the complete, whole, true version of who you could be, and it only appears when everything external disappears. This is why he taught that when no one is there for you, life is actually giving you the most sacred chance to rise. People spend years waiting for approval, waiting for support, waiting for the right time, waiting for a sign, waiting for someone to understand, waiting for someone to fix their pain. Jung says this waiting is the greatest trap, because as long as you wait for others, you never activate your own power. Success, healing, transformation, they all begin the moment you stop waiting and start acting, even if you're afraid, even if you're broken, even if you're alone. Jung believed that the universe removes people from your life when it knows you won't grow with them around. When people leave, your independence begins. When you are left alone, the silence becomes loud, painful, overwhelming. You hear your thoughts more clearly. You feel your wounds more deeply. You see your insecurities in high definition. This silence is frightening because it forces you to confront everything you avoided. But Jung says, this silence is the teacher, because in that silence you begin asking real questions. Why do I live the way I live? Why do I fear the things I fear? Why do I repeat the same patterns? Why do I seek approval? Why do I feel unworthy? No one asks these questions when surrounded by noise. People only meet their true self in silence. The shadow is Jung's most famous concept. It is the part of you that holds your pain, your guilt, your fear, your suppressed desires, your jealousy, your anger, your wounds. When you're surrounded by people, you distract yourself from your shadow. But when you're alone, the shadow steps into the light. This is not to harm you. This is to heal you. Jung believed that the strongest people on earth are the ones who face their shadow and survived, the truth of who they really are. When no one is with you, the shadow becomes your only companion and your greatest guide. Most people think pain is punishment. Jung says pain is information. Pain shows you where you are wounded, where you need growth, where you betrayed yourself, where your boundaries are weak, where you abandoned your truth. Pain is never random. It is a message. When no one is there for you, the only voice left is pain. But that voice holds the map of your transformation. Jung called the journey toward your highest, most authentic self, individuation. This journey is not possible with a crowd around you. Why? Because when you are surrounded by others, you begin performing. You play roles. You wear masks. You act according to expectations. You live inside an identity that is not your own. But when no one is watching, you finally see who you really are. Individuation begins at the moment the world steps away from you. This is why Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that privilege begins in solitude. When no one supports you, you learn to support yourself. When no one encourages you, you learn to motivate yourself. When no one believes in you, you learn to believe in yourself. When no one understands you, you learn to understand yourself. Independence is not an attitude, it is an achievement. And it is earned in the moments when you realize that if no one else will, don't stand up for yourself. Jung would say that your strength appears only when your illusions disappear. And your greatest illusion is the belief that others will carry you. When you're alone, you stop listening to advice, society, and noise. Instead, you begin listening to your inner voice, the unconscious. Jung believed the unconscious is far wiser than the conscious mind. It holds your instincts, your intuition, your creativity, your deepest truth, your hidden potential. When the world abandons you, your unconscious becomes your compass. This is how people rise from nothing. Not because of motivation, but because they finally hear themselves. Every successful person, every wise person, every spiritually awakened person has gone through a period where they walked alone. Jung believed that a future built in solitude is unbreakable. Because people didn't build it, approval didn't build it, help didn't build it. You built it, and whatever you build alone cannot be destroyed by others. Jung says the most powerful humans are the ones who return from loneliness with stronger minds, deeper wisdom, sharper intuition, unshakable independence, powerful self-awareness, emotional maturity, spiritual resilience. When you rise from abandonment, you rise with a strength that cannot be learned anywhere else. And this is how you get ahead when no one is there for you. You become someone who does not need anyone to rise, but can choose people from a place of strength. Jung believed that the universe is not random. When people disappear from your life, it is often because their presence is blinding you. Their noise, their expectations, their influence, all of it prevents you from hearing your own soul. Jung says, you see the world only when the world stops distracting you. When no one is beside you, your vision becomes sharper. You begin to see opportunities you ignored, lies you once believed, and truths that were hidden under noise. Loneliness doesn't make you blind. It cleans the lens. People think they can't move forward because they lack support. Jung would say the opposite. Support often limits you, because when people carry you, you never learn to walk. When they solve your problems, you never become intelligent. When they protect you from pain, you never grow strong. You don't rise in spite of being alone. You rise because you are alone. And that independence becomes your superpower. Jung believed that your wounds are not weaknesses. They are engines. Pain from childhood, betrayal, heartbreak, loneliness. These become emotional fuel if you choose to confront them instead of escape them. Every wound contains a lesson, a direction, a piece of wisdom, a hidden strength. Your wounds are not meant to destroy you. They are designed to wake you up. Jung says, where your fear is, there is your next task. So when no one is there for you, your wounds become your teachers. Confidence is often confused with applause. But Jung says real confidence is born the moment you stop caring who applauds. When you receive no support, you start trusting your instincts. You stop doubting your worth. You develop an inner voice. You stop performing for approval. Most people chase validation, but the seeker of validation never becomes original. When the world stops applauding, you finally become authentic. When you're alone, there is no one to tell you what to do, what matters, what is right, what is wrong, what your future should look like. This absence forces you to create meaning on your own. You begin designing a life that fits your soul instead of copying society. Jung said that the greatest tragedy of modern humans is that they live a life that belongs to others. Loneliness cures this tragedy. Most people live on the surface of their thoughts because the world is loud. But when you become isolated, even temporarily, your mind starts going deeper. You think differently. You question everything. You analyze life, patterns, emotions, memories. This depth is the birthplace of creativity, intelligence, purpose, intuition, breakthroughs. Every philosopher, artist, and genius had periods of solitude. Jung believed great minds are shaped in empty rooms. You have two selves. The false self shaped by society. The true self shaped by your soul. The false self wants approval, status, image, perfection. It wants to be liked. The true self wants meaning, purpose, and integrity. It wants to be real. When people are around you, the false self dominates. But when you're alone, it collapses. Only then does the true self rise. Jung calls this the death of the persona. And this death is the beginning of your real life. When no one is there for you, there's no one left to blame. No excuses, no distractions, just you and the truth. This is when you're forced to confront your mistakes, your fears, your toxic habits, your patterns, your unhealed wounds. Jung says self-honesty is the hardest form of honesty, but it is also the foundation of transformation. You cannot change what you refuse to see. Jung believed a fully mature human is one who can stand alone, not out of pride, but out of inner stability. Standing alone doesn't mean you reject people. It means you don't collapse without them. You don't depend on them emotionally. You don't need approval to feel worthy. You don't lose yourself in relationships. A person who can stand alone is unbreakable. This is the kind of strength built in abandonment, not comfort. Jung believed that every future version of yourself is born in the moments where you feel the most lost. Your future strength is being created right now. Your future wisdom is forming right now. Your future power is shaping right now. Loneliness isn't your ending, it is your forging. Jung says, in the deepest conflict, the soul finds its voice. So when no one is there for you,